Welcome to the show. Use code SEVON20 at Born Primitive. Their new fall collection launches today. If you don't own a pair of Savage ones, make sure you run out and get a pair. They're absolutely amazing. Everyone loves them. I haven't heard one negative thing about them. If you're a Nano 2 fan, Victos fan, they got that same front wide toe box. Great for everything. My wife lives in hers. She wears shoes more than me, but it's the go-to shoe. Good morning.
They're a good shoe. Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
I can't hear you good.
Okay.
Can't hear you good. Sorry, guys. Sorry we're late. Little last minute setup here. Always moving stuff around. Today at 3 o'clock, we're headed on over to Wodapalooza, right down the street from us in Huntington Beach, California. Get set up there and then do a podcast live from the sidelines at 5 p.m. And then they go live at 7 p.m. They have the first event, the teams, a lot of the big name CrossFit athletes out there. I don't know how long that workout is, and then we'll go live again right afterwards. But it's cool because after that little event we did called the CrossFit Games, where Dave and Jenna were nice enough to let us sit on the sidelines there, hopefully that sets some sort of trend and precedent. People will start letting us do that, to have it just pump up their events whenever they're not live, keep people on YouTube, and just talk about what we saw.
Yeah, I mean, it just adds variety to what you're watching, right? And then who doesn't like that? When there's nothing else going on afterwards, you get to go over and listen to us knuckleheads talk about it and give you a different perspective on things. So
yeah, and that seat's crazy. I can't believe it's taken 20 years to let podcasters write down on the side. Well, I guess I can't believe it, but it's cool. I'm very thankful.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's late though, huh?
Yeah.
East Coast people, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's late. I have heard yesterday at the beach, I met some people and they said, hey, I've been to like 5 Wodapaloozas in Miami, and this is my second one here in SoCal. And they said this is absolutely off the hook. They said they love the vibe.
All right, cool. Well, that's exciting.
By the way, I also want to say this. I got to give a crazy shout out to Bryson and Maris and Lizzie. This is the most fun I've had at the beach in the last 2 days in, I don't know, since college. And there's not even any drinking at the beach. I've had an absolute blast at the beach. Taylor and Bryson are absolutely so lucky. They have the coolest wives. I played football yesterday just with Maris.
Oh, really?
Yeah, me and her.
Yeah.
I played football with Maris, and then I played Frisbee with Haley. It was crazy. The beach is crazy. We're having so much fun swimming in the Pacific. Everyone's getting tan except for Taylor.
He's getting burnt.
I don't know what he's getting. He says he doesn't wear sunscreen. I found out Bryce. I was talking to Bryson yesterday. I found out Bryson's never had a sip of alcohol.
Yeah. No drugs, no alcohol, nothing.
Yeah, I wish I could say that. That's crazy.
It is. I learned that last time we were together, and I was like, really nothing at all, never once. And he's like, nope.
Never a sip of alcohol.
Yeah.
What a I don't know. That sounds like a pretty fucking cool. It's kind of like a cool achievement because you don't have to do anything to have this, like, I don't know, Presidential Medal of Honor.
Yeah, isn't that the same with Trump? Hasn't he never had a sip of alcohol or a cigarette or any drugs because his older brother,
Someone died, right? Yeah.
His older brother, I think it was. And he said he looked up to him a lot, and it was just like his life went to shit because of drugs and alcohol.
My wife told me yesterday she's been hanging out with Jenny and Lizzie and Maris, and she said, holy shit, this is so good for me. I said, why? She's like, it's just so refreshing because they're just down to earth girls.
Yeah.
All 3 of them. And I've been telling her how chill Jenny is. I'm like Jenny was here yesterday and she just disappears in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one is high maintenance. No one
not
needs
at all.
attention. No one. Yeah, this trip has been absolutely amazing. I saw a story last night before I went to bed that I can't even believe, but I can believe it because that's the era we're in. During COVID, the average amount of weight that a U.S. citizen put on was 29 pounds.
That's crazy.
29 pounds in the first year. 29 pounds.
Well, that's what happens when you only have liquor stores and fast food available to you, and all the gyms are closed, and you're just told to sit inside your house.
First year, I can't think of a worse thing that could happen to the public. Hey, we're just going to put 20. I mean, that's a life altering. People never lose that weight.
They'll know. Yeah. Majority of them, I would be interested to see the percentage of majority of them that never are going to go back down to the weight that they start at and are just going to continuously have problems and health issues after that.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say none of those 29 pounds were muscle.
Absolutely not.
0.
No. No. Alcohol and fast food, baby. That's it.
20. Jake Chapman. I got jacked during COVID.
Yeah, I mean, the richer got richer and the poor got poorer.
Oh, you come on. You coming on? Oh, we'd love to have you on. I didn't even know. I didn't even know you have the dress code. Please come. Yes.
We don't even have to change the camera
What?
angle.
Oh, you dickhead. You looked at us and made us feel guilty.
I know.
Wow. Taylor's like, what's up?
Because he
I'm not
really
invited.
does want to, but he
Okay,
wants to
have
work
fun.
out
Where are you
more.
going? You going to Chalk? Oh, beach. All right. That was Taylor looking at us like, hey, why wasn't I invited? Then we invited him. He said he's going to the beach to work out.
He just wanted the invite.
Kill Taylor will be Sunday, I believe, on the floor at Wodapalooza also. Yesterday,
Yeah.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible show. The 2 highlights were when Souza wrote in the chat, there's 5 of you retards and you can't figure out how to do a clock. And you know who figured out the clock eventually?
Who?
Brad Asraf.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right?
It,
In 2 seconds, he figured it out. In 2 seconds.
Yeah, you just share a screen. I was cracking up because I was like, what in the world? And the new banner that he put across the bottom that we're working with here, like, it was sick, you know?
Sick.
And so I was like, how does nobody just share the clock screen on this so we could see what's going on? You did a great job of calling out the times, though.
I forgot the first round, but then after that, I was like, I need to call the times.
Yeah, because I was on the plane flight, like, listening to it. And you don't realize, like, how important that is when you don't have a clock or anything.
It's
like,
the whole
where
show.
are they?
Is he going to beat the time?
Yes.
Yeah. Very
So
good point. Very
that
good
was
point.
good.
But we were dying. And then if you watch to the end, I don't want to ruin it for you, but if you haven't seen Kill Taylor, yesterday's was one of the absolute best shows. Watch the whole thing. Ani Shoop, no drugs, alcohol, never smoked, and I'm 46. Yeah, that's a crazy, what a crazy achievement in life.
Congrats.
What a crazy achievement. You never have to wonder for all the people who did go through all that, shitloads of drinking, smoking, vaping. There becomes a point in your life where you'll start questioning, what would I be like if I didn't do that?
Mm-hmm.
How much healthier would I have been? How much damage did I do? That's the main reason never to do any of that stuff, so that you never have to be cluttered with those thoughts, and all your headspace is yours.
I mean, all the mistakes, right?
Yeah, I've never come. Yeah, all the mistakes. Great point. And I've never come home. I've never like looked back and been like, man, I wish I would have drank more.
Right.
Never.
Yeah. I wish I would have wasted more of my money on weed.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yes.
And imagine too, not to get too much on this, but like you think back, especially like
I'd be a millionaire.
Right. The college
I'd be a
years and
millionaire.
things like that.
Put that in Apple.
$200, $300 a month, but you could have just
Minimum,
put that into the
dude.
market and stuff like that. Like,
dude,
it's so dumb.
I was figuring out a way to get a $60 sack every day.
That's yeah. So you were one of those like eighth a days type guys. Yeah, that's nuts. I had some friends that were like that too, and that just maybe it affected me differently or something. But I could never smoke.
If I would have put that in Apple, literally, I'd be a millionaire today.
Yeah, 100%.
2,000 every time I bought a sack of weed. Instead, invest it in Apple. Crazy, right?
Maybe a little store called Amazon too.
Yes. Pick Amazon, Google, and Apple. Sevon is he who thanks to countless years of weed smoking. Sevon is he who thanks to countless. No, I'm not thankful at all. I'm not thankful at all. I think my eyes have gotten worse on this trip. Is that from going in the ocean? Caller, hi.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey,
your guys' chi is unreal this week. I can tell you're by the beach.
I'm feeling my chi. Hey, you know, it was crazy. One day here, I didn't pick up my phone till 3:00, and I literally was like, hey, I need to sit down with my phone for an hour. I am totally neglecting my phone. And I broke off, and I think I got closer to God by using my iPhone and scrolling through Instagram and answering text. Like
that's not true.
I was like, this is complete fucking neglect. It's like 3:00, and I'm like, oh my God, what have I done with my life? I need to get back on Instagram.
Need to be in the inn.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like 30 conspiracy theories popped up about Charlie Kirk, and I was like, I hadn't heard one of them yet. I was like,
behind.
What? Yeah, I'm behind on all the conspiracy theories.
God, there must have been euphoric amount of stimulation all at once.
Hey.
Yeah, that's like a hallmark sign of high chi, by the way. It's not even noticing you're not on your phone.
God, I was devastated. Hey, what's your favorite conspiracy theory that you started thinking about and then you unfucked on Charlie Kirk?
Ooh.
You have one?
Yeah, it's crazy shit. Just generally that the shooter was not who they said it was. That's all. And nothing past that. Just like, hey, how do they not know who this is immediately?
Well, did you?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, drilling down to a specific one. On day one, right after he was shot, there were these pictures going around of a guy in a business suit with dark sunglasses and like a AR-15 strap hanging out of his bag, and that guy has now come out, and he had a black glove on one hand.
Yep.
And that guy came out yesterday and made a video, and it's a dude with one arm, and that
Yeah.
was his prosthetic. And
Yep.
he's a huge Charlie Kirk fan, so he dressed up
In a suit.
in a suit out of respect, and that was a camera strap, and he shows a picture of it, and it's like, and he's like, you guys have got to stop fucking saying I'm the shooter. And it's so funny
Please,
because
guys.
he looks so absurdly out of the Matrix. He looks like one of the Matrix
Yeah.
guys. He looks like what are the guys, the two guys that can just appear in anybody?
Yeah, the bad guys. I forget
Yeah.
what it is.
That I always say Mr. Anderson. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
with Mr. Anderson, and the guy's sunglasses and the gel in his hair and everything. He looks like a hitman out of a movie. But nope, he's just some dude who's had a prosthetic and was a
Dressed
camera
up out of respect.
and a Bible dork and just dressed up out of respect.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How is he not like, you know what? In hindsight, that was a little weird to dress like that.
Yeah,
After a dude gets shot, yeah, but like you're not going there thinking
Right.
that.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
there are so many dorks there. Hey, I was watching my son yesterday. I mean, Charlie Kirk attracted a lot of dorks.
Yeah, he
a
did.
lot of nerdy people. And but I was watching my son yesterday, and he does this thing with his hands where he wipes his nose and then goes like this with his chin. He does these things. He's done them all along. And then whenever we move places like this, also Avi's lips will get chapped. So he always goes like this.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at him like, who's he hand signaling you? Who's he? Is a sniper? Is my son signaling a
CIA?
sniper? Yeah.
CIA?
Is he signaling a sniper?
All of a sudden, someone just gets fucking capped right next to Avi. You're like, whoa, what the?
Yeah. I'm like, oh shit. I'm just seeing hand signals everywhere. And they're drilling the
Hey,
camera.
well-
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to stay on the phone and take up all the time. I was just gonna say, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Perfect.
Well, let me tell you this. While you think about what you're going to say, Judy Reed feels horrible for all the years she ate so much Burger King. No, that's fine. Burger King's fine.
Everybody loves a Whopper.
Yeah, that's not cigarette smoking and.
God, what a flex! That's such a. I feel bad for all the times I didn't eat a salad.
I
Get
feel
outta
bad for all the
here.
times I didn't eat organic blueberries.
Yeah.
I didn't wash my grapes. All those chemicals I got in.
Oh shit.
Okay, do you remember now?
That job.
No, man. But thanks for taking the time, you guys. I can't believe I just forgot. But
Okay,
anyways,
I have
yeah,
one
Charlie
more.
Kirk, it's a shame.
I have one more story for you.
All right.
After he was shot, there was a camera behind him, and the lead technician guy who travels everywhere with Charlie went and got. You see him going and he moves the chair that Charlie was sitting in when he got shot, stands on it, takes the card out, and then goes behind the tent and hands it to someone. And there's just everywhere on Twitter, people are saying, oh my God, that's FBI. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, that is 100% standard protocol. I've done that 1,000 times. The second a shoot is over, no pun intended, you take the card out. And if you're lucky, you have someone who will download and organize the card to a computer, and then you hand the card to someone. But the way they're like, he's tampering with the camera, he's tampering with the crime scene. Like, dude, we're just camera dorks. He's just doing the only things he knows what to do. Get the card out of the camera and start downloading the footage, hand it off to the guy who's going to download it. And it's like, like all of us camera guys know, like, what do you mean tampering? Like, there's all the cops have obviously rushed off to somewhere else to take Charlie to the hospital or to search for the shooter. He doesn't know.
Right.
Like 99% of the people are stupid. And then all of a sudden, all the smartest people are on Twitter critiquing the camera guy. And I'm not saying he isn't doing something nefarious or is, but like that is 100% protocol. And now it's come out that the first thing he did was get the footage and hand it over to the FBI.
Of course.
So, I mean, just the number of people out there commenting on shit that they know absolutely nothing about. It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I think once it came out that the guy's roommate and possible lover, I don't know if it's confirmed that they were. Like,
Yeah,
romantically involved.
yeah, they've. I saw their video on Pornhub. They're definitely love. No, I made that up. I made that up. I made that up. But I did see George Floyd on YouPorn. As soon as I heard about that, I did go look at that.
I bet you that search peaked pretty hot after
Yeah.
that one.
So what were you gonna say?
There's
The
no
number
way
of
that was shot. And well, I was just gonna say that, yeah, once that came out about his roommate, to me, now it kind of makes perfect sense that someone would just go down the rabbit hole, get too fucking crazy. Here's a Charlie Kirk's coming, wants to score some brownie points with their tranny lover, and then cap someone.
someone yesterday was telling me that it's absolutely there had to be people helping him because no one person could have been that organized. And I'm thinking to myself, he didn't even change his shoes.
Yeah, what kind of organization is that?
Yeah, and his shoes are like total standout. And I'm not opposed to the idea that he didn't have help. But I like because he changed his shirt, because he knew like he had a plan of entry and exit. I don't know. I feel like you could go online and look how to kill someone. What's the protocol for hunting someone? And it would be like walk through the steps first, visualize just all the like. It doesn't seem out there. And he was a very high IQ individual, right? He was a nerdy little. I'm hearing that he had a little bit of autism.
Was he? I don't know.
He was a 4.0 student.
Yeah,
I think he had a super high score on the ACT. He had a scholarship to college. I'm just hearing that he was just a brainiac.
Not that smart
Yeah,
if he leaves a rifle. So you mean he's intelligent, but yet he's gonna drop breadcrumbs
He-
all down the. I don't know, man.
Too
There's
many.
just so much
Well, that is
contradicting things.
that is an interesting thing. They were saying that
the rifle point is tough. That one's tough, Susan. I agree.
Yeah,
That one. Yeah.
Which one? Just like
That
what
was a tough-
happened? Where is the rifle, and how did it make it there
Why
and
did he
back?
ditch that if he was able to get away, and then like he's gonna get that?
Oh yeah, why did he set it down?
Like, did he break it down?
I
Did he
mean,
not break
doesn't
it
it
down?
seem so obvious to hide that better? Like,
Yes.
isn't that you would like? That's like a key thing. That's the murder weapon.
Yes.
Like, how is that not one of your most well thought through pieces of the process?
Exactly, especially if he's Mr. Intelligent 4.0 student that's
Right.
thoughtful about it, was
I
able
agree.
to pull that off. Like,
Basically, let me justify it or play devil's advocate. And I don't think it answers the question, but I'm guessing that it was very awkward getting up there, and it was very awkward getting down, and that maybe he didn't realize that, and he's like, "Hey, I need to move faster and without a limp and without a 3-foot gun in my shirt and pants, so I'm going to set it down so I can move."
yeah, but wasn't that after he was already off the roof and away from the school?
Yeah.
So then,
Well, I don't know how far
That
away,
theory
but
is
it sounds
immediately
like he was
debunked.
about 100 yards off campus in the woods. And when they
so
say
you're
woods,
gone
I
at
don't.
that point.
And when they say woods, it's not even really woods. It's just some flora and fauna in between a couple parking lots, at least
Yeah.
from the overhead footage I saw. It's not like it was like backed up to a national park and he just vanished off into the woods.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're on
Yeah,
the are you on the side? Do you think it's just some crazy kid who did it, or do you think that there's something else?
I do think it's crazy, kid. And so what I'm doing to justify the fact that the gun thing is really, I think, poorly thought through from my perspective, is that I think I'm chalking that up to a crazy kid who was just experiencing a ton of anxiety after assassinating someone and made a stupid, like, quick decision with the gun. But I mean, I can't tell you I'm 100% certain on that, but my intuition tells me that it's just it was a nut job, crazy, smart, slightly autistic kid.
Yeah. And I mean, that could all be very possible too. You could get up there and do it. And then all of a sudden the realization, like, holy shit, I just did this. And, your thoughts just go
Exactly.
haywire and you're just making a bunch of dumb decisions. Like, I could definitely see that being the scenario too.
Probably just like shit.
Yeah.
shit.
What do I do? What do I do? Yeah. Exactly.
Souza did send me this morning. This one did rock me a little bit. This one I'm going to be stuck on for a little while. It's a drone that's actually at the event. and the video footage is on the screen. And in my life, I've owned 20 drones, and the comments people are saying it's a bird. I don't see a bird at all.
Yeah.
I don't see a bird at all. I see a drone and I see lights on it. And right after the shot, it takes off and leaves. And yeah, that one's a little weird. And if you look
Yeah.
at the screen, that one I'm gonna need some. I'm
And
gonna need some help justifying that
and
one. I
it's
can't.
all-
I want to justify it, but
Yeah.
that one's a little weird.
It's also
Yeah,
all very
We're gonna have to get
possible.
creative on that one.
Yeah.
It's all very possible that it was like the same situation as we look into all these things or overlook into all these things, that it was just the same situation as the guy in the suit, right? Where you see something that seems out of place, and then we go down the rabbit hole on it. And now we're like, oh, this had to have been this or that. And so, yeah. Also, too, I would like to just note, like, I don't have any hard feelings on either way of which this lands. I know,
But you
after
just
the
don't
last
want. You don't
show-
want to accept everything as fact.
Yeah, and it very well could be the most obvious thing in front of us is reality, is the truth of it, and I would accept that as well too. So I just want to make that statement, because last time as I was trying to go like bigger picture with it, so many people were like dubbing me instantly the conspiracy theorist on it, and maybe that's true, and maybe it is exactly what it is too, what they're showing us.
I'll tell you what. Before COVID, I would have 100%. I would have dismissed every single conspiracy.
Yep.
But
Yes.
once they showed us that they're just will blatantly lie and do whatever the hell they want.
Yes.
Like the government. I mean, now I'm willing to entertain this stuff. So
It's a mixture of conspiracy and complete stupidity. There's this video going around where the head of the CDC is calling the head of Department of Health in Vermont, and she's laughing. She's like, "We didn't even know what to do, and I just called her and asked her, are you going to let kids play football?" And she's like, "No." And she's like, "Okay, I won't let them either." And I'm just like, holy shit, that's how the decisions were being made.
Yeah.
Or I saw Walensky, the next head of the CDC, Rachel Walensky, said, "We didn't know what to do. We were just watching CNN and figuring out what to do from watching CNN." I was like, holy shit. Hey, and the scenario saying that was a bird flying away. If there was a gunshot and there were birds in the vicinity, they would take off immediately.
Sure.
But when I look at this tiny little grainy shitty shot,
Yeah.
the last two shots, I see a light, a blinking light that I recognize that drones have on them. I know those lights on drones, and I've owned fucking 100 drones, and yeah, it's and you can buy a drone that's under 250 grams, and you don't have to register it.
And just to be clear, the sketchy part is that like we haven't seen that footage, and
Yes,
theoretically they would break. Okay, all right,
yeah, well said. That's my exact thought. The fact that if there was a drone and it was filming,
Where's the footage?
where's the footage? Or at least if I was flying that drone there that day and I wasn't filming, 99% of the time when I fly drones, I'm not filming. I'm just flying them for recreation. I would at least tell the authorities, hey, I had a drone up.
Right.
And this is what I
So they
saw.
don't show up at your house.
So another weird thing is that there's all sorts of people who say they haven't been contacted by the FBI yet. All sorts of people who seem like that they have information. And it reminds me of one time I was flying on a flight and I was sitting next to a guy, and he was a cameraman for 2020. And he said he was the last guy ever to film with Osama bin Laden. And it took him 4 days to get to the cave, being blindfolded, held in, shacks in certain places, and then they finally took him to the caves, and he filmed the last ever interview with Osama bin Laden for ABC's 2020. And I asked him, like, "Oh, did you get cross-examined by the FBI?" Never once.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow.
What?
Yeah, never got interviewed.
Imagine that.
I know. I mean, and once again, maybe I'm just stupid, like the same way people are stupid about who think that the cameraman's doing something nefarious when he's taking the card out. Maybe there's some things that, like,
He was already cleared by the FBI and they already knew the situation and were, had all the information they needed on him or something.
yeah, like, I don't know what the protocol for interviewing people is. I don't know, but it sounds like they have a shitload of resources, and
Why wouldn't you talk to everybody?
yeah, and
Yeah.
that they would have talked to everyone and like, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's wild. Hey, let me ask you this. I had a liberal on my Facebook post something the day after Charlie Kirk got shot, and he basically said, you know, why are all you guys posting about being so upset about Charlie Kirk, but I never see you guys post anything about being upset for all these mass shootings at elementary schools and whatnot. And at first I was like, well, shoot, that's actually interesting, because if I was being honest with myself, I was kind of more shook by Charlie Kirk getting shot than some of these school shootings. And so I thought on that for a long time that day. I was like, what, why is that? It doesn't really add up. And I think the answer that I came to, and I'm interested in what you guys think about this, is just that simply just watching a few hours of his content over years, you actually get to kind of know Charlie Kirk in some way. And so when he gets shot, it kind of rocks you more. Whereas these school shootings, you don't know any of these kids. They're totally anonymous. Kind of like how in the Olympics, like before they give you the background story of an athlete, you could care less. But once they give you a 2-minute story about him, then all of a sudden you're rooting for him to win. So that was my take on that. But have you guys seen that? And what do you think? I mean, are you guys more rocked by a school shooting or by Kirk's assassination?
I completely agree with everything you just said. You like whether people want to admit it or not, when you watch that much of somebody, even if it's just in clips or even it's just in passing, you have some sort of connection. And I think with how Charlie was around free speech and the opinions he gave, and especially how religious he was and stuff, there's lots of different angles where you could connect with him in a little bit of a deeper way. And just like, you're sad when your friend's grandma dies because you're like, oh, that sucks. It's very different when it's yours or one step away. So I agree with what you said. I just think people had more of a relationship or a connection, and maybe they see themselves in him a little bit more. And when you just see, and the truth is and the unfortunate reality is we're like a little numb to these school shooting things. Like we're like, oh shit, here's another one of those. Super sad, really crazy, but like just another headline, unfortunately.
I know someone. I know a lot of parents who are afraid about their kids going to school every single day because of school shootings, because of what they see on the news. I think it's unjustified fear, but maybe I'm just in denial. And I also have a friend who is completely against homeschooling, who pulled his kids out of school and homeschools them now because of a school shooting. Also, just to give you a stat, and this isn't exactly right. I can't remember the exact stat, but it was like in 2022, the Fortune 100 companies hired 300,000 people. And of those 300,000 people, 6% of them were white male. And so we know that something is definitely going on when you see that. And if you talk to any of your friends who work in HR departments or finance departments, you'll see that these positions are all being filled by one demographic: obese white women and obese black women. And when you start seeing all of that, and the hiring practices, and you see United Airlines saying that they're just starting schools for black pilots or just female pilots, or they want to double their female pilots. This shit is everywhere. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, said when Dianne Feinstein died, I'm going to replace her with a black woman. Like, he knew that at fucking head of time. All of this shit is just open fucking racism. We know Kamala Harris was put in that position because she was a black woman. When you see all of these things happen because of sexism and racism, and you know that you can't speak out, when one man speaks out openly, and that was Charlie Kirk, like, hey, this is the shit that's going on, we can really, really rally behind him, because the vast majority of people are terrified to say anything. Remember, families, you couldn't, if you didn't take the vaccine, you weren't invited to Thanksgiving dinner. And if you were, there were 20 of your family members around, and you had to lie and say, I took the vax. And I have a very close friend whose entire family is libtards, and they pressured him to get the vax, and now he has a heart condition. And so I think Charlie Kirk was that guy. I think he's, I don't want to say he's more valuable in any way than these kids' lives, but he connected with half the nation who wanted to say something, who couldn't say something. And that's huge. That's like, he was the voice for,
People
hundreds of millions of people. Yeah. People afraid to speak out. And so we have this going, and no one wants to be called a bigot or a racist. In California, that's the worst thing you could be called. You'd rather be a bigot and racist than be called a bigot or racist. That's the entire premise for being a Democrat. They don't care whether they are, they're openly openly fascist, with the cornerstone of fascism being you're more considered in group rights than individual rights. You're willing to take the rights away from individuals to give them to groups. And that being said, when you have someone you have the whole Democratic Party who's much more terrified about being called it than actually being it. And it's crazy. Hey, let me keep going here, and I'll play the clip in a second. Jasmine Crockett said that stealing isn't what makes you a criminal. It's a mindset that makes you a criminal. She just said that. So you see the disconnect right here. Liberals think reality is what you're thinking, and conservatives think reality is what you're seeing. And so they think that if a man says he's a woman, that's enough. That's the reality. If someone doesn't think like a criminal, but they stole a car off of a lot, they're not a criminal. She just said that yesterday. I'll play the clip for you in a second. We are living with batshit crazy people.
Yeah, it's pretty backwards.
And
no, that's just setting the bar so. It's not even setting the bar low. It's just setting the bar in some bizarre fucking place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
hey, did you just make up that they were obese white women, obese black women? Like I don't like I
no,
never,
that's the no, that's the no, no. Hey, listen.
I'm not
listen.
mad about it. I think it's
No,
funny.
no. Listen. Type in pick 10 company. Pick the 10 biggest companies you want. Pick Amazon, Facebook, IBM, Microsoft, ESPN. Go ahead and pick the 10 BlackRock. Pick the 10 biggest companies you know, CrossFit, and Google who's head of their HR. And you'll see they're all fat. 80% of them are obese black women.
I like how you slipped that one in there.
Hey, the head of the largest teachers union with 1.7 million teachers in the union, obese white woman. She's head of it. She just released a book about how 80% of all parents are fascist, and so we have to teach kids in our public schools not to be fascist. Susan Weingarten.
And you know how you teach them that? By being fascist.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the education system has to be completely overhauled. I mean, having your kids in school is absolutely batshit crazy. It is. It is just. You're better off just taking your kids everywhere you go, like I do. Figure out a way to live your life and just take your kids. They'll learn everything they need. They'll learn math and reading faster than the other kids. Their social skills. Homeschooled kids, their social skills are 1,000 times better than kids who are in school. Like 10,000 times better. Because they can go everywhere. They can go everywhere. My kids don't misbehave. Just is the way it is, because they're used to being taken around everywhere. Hey, it's like having a dog and never taking it out, and then at 5 years old taking it to the dog park. Your dog will fucking lose its shit. And it's not like that with my dog. You know what I mean? He hasn't been kept. Think of the school as tantamount to the pound, raising a dog in the pound. Every day you just take your dog.
I was gonna say it's worse than the dog
pound.
park.
Yeah,
right. It's worse than the park because you've got other adults trying to tell. It'd be like dropping your dog off with crazy. Well, I'm not gonna say teachers are crazy, but the curriculums are insane. It'd be like dropping your dog off at the dog park and then letting people train it. And you don't even know how they're training it.
Jeff Bako, putting together what is known, a reasonable estimate is that fewer than 5% of HR executive roles are held by African-American women, perhaps closer to 1 to 3%. Maybe you should just, instead of believing everything you read, you should just do some research on your own, Jeff, like I did. And I get it, Jeff. You're afraid to tell the truth. That's the whole point. That's why Charlie Kirk was so cool, because he could tell the truth.
Yeah, there's no way, dude. My experience in life, there's no way that it's that low percentage.
Yeah, it's wild. Hey, start looking up police chiefs of all the major cities. Look who the police chiefs are, and the mayors. Look what's happening in all the big blue crime cities. Look who they are. The fucking mayor of fucking the police chief of Minneapolis during the riots. I don't know if you know this story. When he was a police officer, he was in a bank and the bank got robbed and he was in there and he ran out the back door and didn't do anything. And you know why? Because he abstained from carrying a gun. He refused to carry a gun. And so the place was fucking robbed and he ran out the fucking back door. It's the stories are nuts. You can see all that stuff in the movie Fall of Minneapolis, or you can read the book written by Liz Collins. It's absolutely It's nuts. And the mayor of Chicago just yesterday said that he was saying that police are a scourge to society or some shit like that. Just yesterday. So
Oh, shit.
yeah, he said no society's ever been made safe by police.
And maybe too, we're just in the simplest answer is we're just in the state of administrative stuff. It's like there's so much bureaucratic, you know, bloat essentially, is that they all have to justify their job. So what I mean by that is like in the schools, you should have the administrators that should be very small and few that are kind of managing the money and overseeing it. Then you should have the teachers, and all the money and all the resources should be flowing down to the teachers because they're the one actually doing the work. They're the people that are actually teaching. But what happens is you get this layer of bureaucracy that starts to just really bloat, and then each one of them has to justify their jobs.
Yes.
So like you were saying,
Yes.
in the case of HR, as HR starts to bloat because you're all within this, you know, humans need all this protection and all this shit around them, like you have to start going and looking for it. Otherwise, quickly you would realize, hey, there's really not that much of a need for all of you people to be around. We should shrink this by a significant percentage and give all that money to the people that are actually doing the work.
Yep.
And so you see it in large corporations, especially. I mean, there's this case of like with
By the way,
Dell.
just to add that, that's what HR people do.
That's
They
right.
find problems to justify
Their jobs.
their jobs.
Yes. And they
Right,
have
and they
this,
make you watch a webinar on it.
right, because and then by the way, they hire and contract people out to say, hey, we have this idea, and like, can we now have resources to solve for this problem that was never a problem in the first place? So now all of a sudden you have this industry of now we're bringing in all these sexual harassment videos and this and that and this and that, when really you could just shrink that down and just use common sense and judgment to be like, yeah, that guy's kind of a weirdo and asshole, and a few women are uncomfortable, ditch him, right?
Right.
And they had this case with Dell a while back where they had to do a bunch
computer
of
company?
layoffs. Yes, and they cut down like a significant portion, just basically fired everybody in one building. And it was like, what happened? Nothing happened. And that was the point. All those people
Yeah.
weren't even
Twitter
doing
did the
anything.
same thing. Elon
Yes.
did the same thing.
Yes. And so it's like the 80-20 principle that really 20% of the people that you're hiring are actually doing 80% of the work. And so once it bloats that way, and then also HR, going back to the corporate side of stuff, or administrative things like the teachers unions, now they're just, their job is actually just to protect from them being able to be curled back and to be, cut back and to reduce that waste.
The
So-
teachers union has pit the teachers against the students, by the way. We saw that in COVID. They have nothing to do with the student. They're not looking for the best interests of the students at all.
No, that's
Just
not their
the
job.
teachers. More
That's
days,
right.
more days off, more days off, more days off. That's it.
Yeah. So it could just be something where just that shit has just gotten so out of hand that became the ruling class. It's like the intellectuals in the college. You know, they're going to come up with all these theories on business practice or economic practice or economic theory, and they never actually have to live through the result of their theories because
Yeah.
it's just a theory. You're not running a
Yeah.
business. So if you make wrong decisions, there's no consequence for it.
consequence,
It's just like, well, you just didn't do communism the right way. It's like, no, if
Yes.
you actually have a business and you have to make payroll and you have to pay bills, you don't get the luxury of having poor decision making in your theories because quickly you just run out of cash. So like you have to
Right.
actually be able to operate, and we have way less operators and we have way more intellectuals in this case that are essentially running these corporations, running administrations, running the schools, and none of them are having to be held to consequence of their bad ideas.
Dude, that's why I think it's crazy when these companies hire consulting firms. Like that's their first thing. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
like
Waste of
really,
money.
what? How is
Waste
that?
of money.
I mean, because those are, you want to talk about people who don't have to actually realize the consequence of their actions. They just get to tell you what to do, but if you don't profit or if it doesn't work, it's not their bottom line.
That's right.
I've always thought that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But hey, guys, I got to run to the store. Thanks for the
Thank you.
chat. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the beach.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, the great example, the 29 pounds, the average 29 pounds that the average American put on during the first year of COVID is a perfect example. The people making the decisions were only looking at COVID, and let's say they were right about everything, which
Yep.
they were wrong about everything. But let's say they were. They never once thought, if you make the metric days live, number of days saved of a human being. So let's say you're going to leave to 50 years old versus 53 years old, you get an extra 1,000 days of life, right? What reduced? What?
Is that on Instagram?
No, that's live. He's FaceTiming. Hey,
Uh-oh.
hey, you want a link? You want a link?
Yeah, give him a link.
I'm doing a show. You want a link? Yeah. Well, I can bring you on and
Yeah, give him a link.
I would love to chat with you and see what's going on with your life. I definitely have some questions for you. Yeah. I sent you a link. Come on for a minute. I want to hear about your meeting yesterday. It won't be weaponized. I'll be very gentle.
I won't.
Okay, I will. Let me finish the show.
Hit
I'm doing a show. I purposely don't answer so people don't think we're friends. Oh, okay. 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 All right, fine. Imagine having a friend who says, when I call and I say I'm on the show, his response is, well, just pick it up and tell me you're on the show.
Self-importance.
Holy shit.
Dave's turning into the administrative class.
What do you mean turning into? So you think you put on this 29 pounds and you think, okay, did that take 1,000 days off of every human being's life? Did that take 3 years off their life carrying that extra 29 pounds around? And so there's 300 million people. And so that took 900 million years. Did they ever balance that out with the COVID response? Were they ever like, oh, it's better just to let COVID play its course than cause some? They never even fucking thought what happens downstream.
No, but I could tell you that they realized that the profits were going to get an increase for all the drug companies.
Right.
So maybe you're thinking their goal was to actually make people healthy, and I'm thinking maybe their goal was to not
make money. 100%.
Right? You need more people in beds, and at the same time, like that on average in the U.S. We pay $14,520 something on medical expenses
a year.
A year
per person?
Yes. And how much of that do you think is just
and like people like me, I don't use any.
Exactly. So you're subsidizing the chronic disease, which is like 90% of the costs. And
that's crazy.
Right. And so when you think about like things like that, like nobody really that's in that sector benefit from the essential people being healthier.
Right.
Like the model's upside down. And when you had the health organizations and what have you, institutions in charge of it right there, do you think that which way do you think that they're leaning towards? The path that they know, which has gotten us into this mess, or a path that's going to take us away from it?
Along that same line, Jeffrey Birchfield says, I'm so thankful I worked for 25 years in a profession that people think is worthless. Thank you. Jeff, it could be worse. You could be a doctor who got into the profession of helping people and curing people, but you're also the profession that's the third leading cause of death in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And wrap your head around that. So there's that. All right. Jeff, you're out of your mind, by the way. I'm reading your comments, but like I can only pick like I want to pick some, but like you there's only so much nonsense I can bring up. I want to give you a voice even though it's nonsense, but I don't know what to I don't know which bit of nonsense to bring up. Everyone should get a voice. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Okay, here's the story. This story is absolutely wild. This man fell between his bed and the wall at his house. And when his wife went to help him, she fell on top of him and killed him. A 59-year-old man died at home in northwest Portugal after his wife, who weighs over 100 kilograms. That's not that much, right? That's 250, 225?
220.
Accidentally tripped and fell on him, police says. The accident occurred on August 11th. The 60-year-old wife got out of bed, tripped, and fell onto her husband, who was lying on the floor, trapped between the bed and the wall. She could not get up on her own and cried for help. Neighbors rushed over and managed to lift her off the husband. He was unconscious. Firefighters and paramedics shortly afterwards, but the victim had gone into cardiac arrest and could not be revived. When they say you want to die under your wife, I don't think they mean, most people mean like that.
Well, so he died from cardiac arrest, right?
Well, somewhere else I read he died. Police concluded it was a rare accident with no criminal element, and cause of death was determined to be accidental asphyxia.
Oh, shit.
The wife is currently receiving psychological counseling following the shock.
Oh, that's sad.
Dude. Imagine falling on someone, not being able to get off, and them dying. Do you remember that video that went viral a couple of years ago where there was a stroller rolling down a hill
Yes, and
towards
that
rushing
woman kept
traffic,
falling. Yeah,
and the fat woman tried to get it and she
Yeah.
fell, and then some guy ran and saved it?
right.
This is like that, but
I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but that's
but
absolutely
with a bad ending.
insane, dude. I mean, 'cause-
insane. It doesn't even sound believable, but you know it is.
I mean, think about the type of world that we've created where you could be that big and that incapable physically and still be fine and not know it until you have some catastrophic disaster happen, right? Like whether it's you try to run after the stroller and you realize like, holy shit, I am completely incapable as a human being, or you fall on top of a loved one and you can't get up and you're like, holy shit. And also too, the guy underneath her, right? The husband underneath her can't even get himself out of that situation. So what did he look like?
Yeah.
Because guess
yeah.
what? If somebody
Yeah.
220 falls on me, like I'm able to scramble my way out of that.
At least get your head out.
At least be able to create some space to breathe.
Yeah.
So like you have two just
Yeah, right.
completely
Just pull your
physically
forearms up
incapable.
to your face and like get a little gap in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Heidi could tell us to get a knee in, create a little space with her jujitsu moves, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's very strange, but also at the same time, like, I don't know. I mean, I always just go back to the fact of like we've created this system that allows people like that to exist in it because it's a profit center.
Yeah.
Every time you see somebody who's 50 to 100 pounds obese, know that they are a profit center.
Instead of telling people that if you can't get from the TSA to the airline because you're too fat, or making them come 3 hours early so they can walk slowly, they have little cars that drive the fat people around. Hey, it really is like Wall-E. We have little cars that drive fat people around.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is. And that's what you mean by enable. Society, instead of like, hey, we're just not going to accommodate this.
Right.
We enable it. Just
Well,
more and more enabling.
We talk about how, you said it before, like capitalism kind of works within our natural like DNA, like our natural human nature. Right?
Yeah, it's in our biology.
Because
it's our biology. Yeah.
So like we are now completely pushing against our biology because if we took any one of these people that are physically incapable and you drop them in the middle of anywhere, they are not going to survive.
Right.
Right. They only survive off the system and the way society has created around them. And so
they can't get food, they can't
No.
bring any offerings, and they can't fuck anyone.
That's
the
right.
three kind of important things you have to do.
Yes. And so when you think about it that way, the further we tend to move away from our natural DNA, our natural biology, the worse off we become mentally too.
Yep.
So if you think about it, even
you're
with
depressed
people,
if you can't contribute.
And people that maybe are slightly overweight, right, but don't have the same genetics that are going to make them blow up as some other people, or they're kind of like oscillate between somewhat being healthy or not, what ends up happening? They have a ton of like mental health issues because maybe they're not being challenged or whatever the case may be, right? But when you start to move away from our biology or the natural human nature, because we are just animals, and just like when you throw a bunch of animals in the zoo and they get depressed and all this shit happens, they can't live in that captivity.
Yep.
We've created a captivity around us in our natural environment that has led us to mass depression, led us to all these health issues and everything else. And again, it's just because the companies and the administrative and the lobbying and the legislation that goes around to create that, to allow that to happen, profits off of it.
Yep. They found a way to. So I mischaracterized it. I said they found a way to accommodate it. No, you're saying okay, they found a way to accommodate it, but the reason why is because it makes money.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah. Well said. Souza, have you ever had a chubby chasing phase?
We talked about how we regretted alcohol earlier, right?
It goes hand in hand. There was another great.
Yeah.
Matt Burns had another great one in here. Where is it? Shit. Oh yeah, here it is. Sevi, have you ever had a big girl sit on your face? I don't have to answer your questions. Fuck you.
Oh,
I don't have to. I don't have to. I'll do it. I'll do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. I don't have to answer your questions. You're not my boss. Anyway, tragic.
Yeah, that's sad.
Tragic. I also want to. Let me see if I can find this. I did the drone card protocol. Wife falls on husband's face. I want to show you the Jasmine Crockett, because I know Jeff Bako doesn't like to take anything anything is fact. He probably thinks this is AI. By the way, I the first thing I saw when I saw this video, just so you guys know how superficial I am, if you haven't figured that out already, is what's the first thing you notice in this video?
Her makeup,
Oh, that's good. Like that.
the ring.
What's the first thing you guys notice?
Understood what was kind of pushing them there. And so I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That is completely different. Being a criminal is more so about your mindset. Committing a crime can come for a lot of different reasons. I understood what was kind of pushing them there. And so I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That is completely different. Being a criminal is more so about your mindset. Committing a crime can come for a lot of different reasons. I understood.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I understand how she's trying to position the argument, though. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would like to hear, but I'd like to hear make an example of it. She's saying that, like, she's justifying, like, hey, if your kids are hungry and you go into a grocery store and steal,
Yep.
that you're not a criminal. But
Yep.
hey, you are a criminal. You've chosen, you have to then reframe it and realize that it's a vocation. You're choosing that as a vocation. Gandhi said that begging is a vocation and it's the worst of all vocations. And same with being a criminal. If you're a criminal, you've chosen that as your vocation. You have to think of it as a vocation. It's a misnomer to put it in some other category. It's the same thing as like homelessness. The vast majority of homeless people have just not chosen housing as a priority, and you think we're going to build them homes and it's going to make everything better. That's
Right.
that's not what's going on here. They've chosen drugs as their favorite pastime, and they've chosen criminality as their vocation because they can't get a job because they're too preoccupied getting drugs.
Right.
And by the way, I thought she looked beautiful here. Is that
Yeah,
a way?
she looks great.
Yeah, I thought she looked great. A complete psychopath. Complete psychopath. Did you want to like just play devil's advocate and kind of justify what she's saying?
Yeah, well, what it sounds like what she's trying to do is ignore the blatant criminal activity and go right to the victim mentality of like, hey, society has pushed these people to commit these crimes.
Yep.
It's not the fact that they're just doing it because they want to. They're doing it because they have to for survival, which there might be percentages that is the case, but I think that's very few and far in between.
Very.
You know, and I think that there's so much abundance and resource out there that if you truly were in that position and you were trying to feed your kids and that was your goal, and you weren't in that position because you kept choosing drugs over your children, and now you're just trying to get money because, you know, whatever, you need more drugs or you spent it all at that time, like you will, like there's an abundance of resources out there to get help. I do not view an individual person, whether it be a single mom or a single dad, that is taking care of their kids, that are solely focused on getting their kids what they need, struggling for that long in the United States.
You don't see.
I don't see that unless there's something else going on there. Like, yeah, I'm a single dad. We live in the car and I have my kids and I'm just trying to help them. And someone's like, when's the last time you smoked crack? And I'm like, well, earlier today, but let's not worry about that. I'm focused on my kids.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not. If you're truly focused on your kids, there is so much resources. And I know in Livermore, this is the case, that you could start going to these places and they will feed you. They will feed your kids. If you start going to individuals in these neighborhoods, that they would help you. If you showed up somewhere and said, like, I need a freaking job because I fell upon hard times and my kids and I are living in my car, you mean to tell me that within a shorter period of time, you wouldn't have some sort of job and couldn't start to work your way out of that mess? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Because then really, if you examine that, you go, oh shit, the reason why you got in that mess is because of drugs or alcohol.
Yep.
And the reason why you're not getting out of that mess is because drugs and alcohol. Now you want to start this conversation with like, well, I'm doing this for my kids. Well, where was that mentality and where was all of that prior to you getting into the situation that you were?
Right.
Everybody makes mistakes, and I think people always deserve second chances. But like, if you're truly focused on that, and to her point, if that is the actual case of what's going on, you're not in that situation for very long.
I promise you, you could walk around with a trash picker upper and a sandwich board that says, I'm picking up trash. Please give me a quarter to support this clean street. You could make $40 an hour.
Yep.
I promise you. I promise you that if you're just a 17-year-old male and you're homeless, you could go somewhere, set up a keyboard, and practice playing the piano 2 hours every day in public. And within a year, you will have the skills that will make you $50 a day in donations. And you can do the whole thing in public with a little basket out making food. When I was homeless, one of the things is I taught myself how to draw, and I drew this drawing. You've probably seen it in my office before. It has the eye in the center with all the buildings coming up.
Yeah.
Then I borrowed money from a friend. I had it printed out. I paid him back, and I started making like $22 a day selling it at the student bookstore. I just walked in there. Yeah.
Yep.
And I was smoking weed every day and drinking every day. But every morning I spent 2 hours at the coffee shop teaching myself how to draw. I had no drawing skills.
Yes. Hey, and by the way, too, you're like, never underestimate like a really great attitude. So like, even if you were in a bad position, but you were somebody who had a good attitude, showed up, was overly respectful, tried to contribute where they can. You like, I have a really hard time believing that in this day and age, somebody with a great attitude that's willing to work, that's willing to contribute, and is truly doing it for the right reasons is gonna be in a bad situation for very long.
Yep.
I just don't believe it.
Yep. It's pretty wild. You nailed it. It's going straight. She was going straight to the victim mode.
Right there. She was justifying it.
Yeah. She wants to enable the victim, not enable our biology as innovators and people who work hard and people who should be held to the standard of their biology.
And on top of that, we have so much resources and abundance around us. If you're living in the United States right now, that you have to really jump through a bunch of like woe is me and victim mentality things just to get to the place to where you'd be like, well, I'm helpless and this is happening to me and there's nothing I could do about it. You know, that I just don't.
And you have people who are so successful who never had that mindset. Oprah Winfrey, LeBron James. Than pushing that fucking mindset.
Yes.
What if he would have completely flipped the script and been like, hey, I don't believe in anyone's fucking excuses.
Period.
Hard
work. Here's
what
I did.
Yes.
Here's how you can do it. And
they went through all the trials and they succeeded. So why don't you talk about how you succeeded?
Yep.
Just only talk about the 8 hours a day you sat in the gym just shooting basketballs.
Exactly. And the other thing to that as well is like, I'm not saying it's going to be super easy. So I don't want anybody to hear like, oh, well, that's easy for you to say or this or that. Because no, it's not going to be easy. But the point is like now, and especially in the US.
But it can be fun. But it can be fun. It might not be easy, but it can be fun.
But there's an opportunity for it. And there's never been a better time in the history of humanity in a better place than the United States to create an opportunity from yourself out of nothing. Never.
Right.
And I mean, that's why you see people willing to risk their lives and their families' lives to get out of the countries and situations that they're in to come here for that opportunity.
Yep.
And so it's, you know, you're just like I view the US sometimes as just like the spoiled rich kids that have everything at their fingertips, but are super unhappy and want to blame their parents for all of their problems.
Right.
Like that's the society that we live in. Like, oh, I have all this abundance, but here's everything that's wrong with it. And I'm really upset. And it's all mom and dad's fault. It's like, you know what? Take some ownership, take some responsibility and try to make something out of yourself, regardless of the situation or circumstance that you're in.
Our very own Taylor Self has taken a bad experience behind the Fuddruckers and turned it into a business where he was able to buy a small home in South Carolina.
It's the American dream. And that's why when we were going kind of almost wrap this into the conspiracy theory things with like Kirk and stuff like that. That's why I keep saying like, I view all of these things as really good, convenient distractions for the actual problems in the United States. Our shrinking middle class, inflation coming in a way that's eroding our buying power, Trump adding $2 trillion more to our already increasing impossible national debt.
Is it impossible?
It's not impossible, but he's putting a pretty big play on having AI come and save us, because when we see these big transformations of industry, typically you start to see that the productivity of that will increase to take away some of that debt, right? That's like, okay, so let's go United and say, hey, Sevon, here's what I think would really help out the podcast. What if we take out $1 million loan and for 1 year, we revamp your studio, make it super fancy, and we fly all these guests and we do everything in person and we do this. And you say, okay, I could see that really helping out. And I go, all right, so we just have to take on more debt to make that happen.
Right, right. That sounds scary as shit.
That's what we're doing in the US. And
Yeah,
by the
that
way,
sounds
what
very
if I
scary.
told you that, but at the same time, I'm saying, hey, and by the way, all that money that we just took out the debt in,
Yeah.
you could actually purchase less of it, because since we took that money out, that camera that was $100, we took on the debt. Now that camera's $150. So it's already like our cash and buying power is already eroding up just
Right.
by us taking on more of the
Right,
debt.
right,
And the problem is when we see these really big picture things, it's really hard for us to conceptualize.
right.
But when I take it down to like, okay, now imagine just you in that situation, all of a sudden all the fear signals kick in and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. We need to probably think that through a little bit more.
Right,
But we don't do that with the bigger picture.
right. Very, 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 very well said. We will be at Tier Wodapalooza today doing a pre-show at 5 p.m. From the sidelines. We'll go over the 2 big teams that are here, including superstars like Jason Hopper and Tia Toomey, the CrossFit Games champions. And we'll go over the workouts. Then the workout will happen, and then we'll do another podcast right afterwards. All courtesy. Don't forget, Born Primitive has launched its fall line today. They also sell the best shoes in the world, and nothing's more important than a great pair of shoes while you're doing CrossFit.
I've been using the Born Primitive Savage 1 for a few months now, and it's now the only shoe that I wear. From rope climbs to Olympic weightlifting, I'm able to use this shoe in all of my training, coaching classes all day. Over the course of the past few months, it's been virtually indestructible. And after doing 30-foot rope climbs, I can't get the shoes to tear or the shoelaces to come untied. The Savage 1 has a super wide toe box, which is really comfortable for me. It's important to mention that Born Primitive is an American veteran-owned and operated company who continues to stand behind and support our American servicemen and women. Don't forget, the Savage 1 is now back in stock. You can get $20 off using the code SAVAGE20 at bornprimitive.com. The only one stopping you is you.
Don't use that code. Don't use that code. Use code SEVAN20 to get 20% off. SEVAN20, SEVAN 20. Also, think about, I don't know how big Born Primitive is, but let's say it's a $100 million a year company in revenue, not profit.
Yeah.
Last year, they spent $11 million to pay veteran medical bills. $11 million. So if they're a $100 million company, and let's say their profits are 20% and they made $20 million, I'm totally making this up. They gave half of that, more than half of that, to pay the expenses, medical expenses for veterans, and it's veteran owned. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's a great company to support. I'm always stoked when they support the show because I love pumping them up. It's so easy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good people, good company.
My free Wodapalooza fee to watch. Thank you, Joseph Ramirez.
Thank you, sir.
Speeding is defined as driving in excess of an arbitrary speed limit. It's victimless. It's an absence of accident. That's not even. That's just pure. That's so fucking manipulative. Do you really want to dig into that? It's what's not arbitrary. And so in a world where everything, all the laws are arbitrary, it's almost redundant to say that. I don't know why you're saying that. And there's definitely are studies that show reaction times, number of deaths for each, the likeliness of dying in a car accident for each mile you're going faster over the speed limit. We have to accept the premise that we're trying to avoid dying, which is arbitrary too. Okay? It's arbitrary. It's just arbitrary. We don't want to die in a car accident. I mean, Jesus criminy, dude.
It's also too.
What are you saying?
It's the social contract, right? So it's like, it's the unwritten rules of like, hey, it would be really convenient if I could just drive up the shoulder when there's traffic because I need to get to where I need to be on time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it, unfortunately, that's just not the way that works. And so like when you're saying speeding is a victimless crime, it's like, well, sure, if you really want to like try to just frame everything around like, well, nobody was hurt. And it's like, well, no,
Until they are.
Well, the thing is too, is if you break that social contract, then you think about it in the sense of if everybody did that, it would just descend into chaos and you would have a lot of victims of it and you would have a lot of people being hurt. So it's more or less the fact of like, you just have to operate in a certain way so society can run organized and orderly.
25 in a city, 45 in a different place, 65 in another place. Definitely arbitrary. Okay. Fine. We'll do this if you want to do this. Arbitrary. I can't believe. I hope you're just trolling me. Based on random choice or personal whim. You think that a 25 in front of a school zone is just personal choice and whim? You don't think that any thought goes into that? You don't think in a neighborhood where kids are playing in the street at 25 or 15 and speed bumps, you think they're just putting speed bumps out arbitrarily? Let's just throw one there.
Yeah.
Just why do you think that you never see a speed bump on the freeway? Hey, paving the roads is just completely arbitrary.
And you could look at
I mean,
it
it's
this
just
way
it's crazy talk, dude.
and say, yeah, no problem. We don't have to have speed bumps. We don't have to have speed limits. But guess what? In order for you to get your license, it's going to be $100,000 a year. You're going to have to go through 7 to 8 tests every single year. If you get caught driving without a license, the crime for it is going to be extreme. And guess what? Now we got some really safe, responsible drivers on the road. And also they're all rich. You know, like just think about it that way. So if you want to have access for more people to be able to drive, you make
with the premise that you don't want people to die or end up in the hospital.
So you try to like find that dichotomy of like, okay, well, we have to have the permit. You have to know the rules of the road. You have to prove that in a driving test.
Yeah.
And if you start to break those rules, we're going to restrict your ability to drive, right? Or we're going to bring up the cost of your insurance, or we're going to penalize you with fines and traffic tickets and things like that. You could just say like, yeah, it's $500,000 a year to drive.
And that's the social contract. Hey, scenario, if you want to really break down something, what I'd like to see, what happened to me is my car was stolen and then it was impounded. And they said that they called me, and they actually did call me, but they called me at 3 a.m. when they found the car, and I don't ever check my messages. And so when I finally, 2 weeks later, when I found out that my car was stolen, I couldn't afford to get the car to impound. And then
victimless.
And then the impound yard told me I could leave it there, but I had to pay him $1,000. So I lost my car, and my dad was nice enough to pay $1,000 for me. It was crazy. It's fucking yeah, that shit pisses me off. The precise speed limit is arbitrary. Okay, I'll give you that. Hey, it's the same thing. People always complain about the 6-foot rule during COVID, about how it was completely arbitrary. And I have nothing nice to say about any of the COVID stuff, but like that's common sense shit. And I'm not okay with accepting COVID as some sort of disastrous killer disease that was out there. But let's say there was some disastrous killer. Let's say it was that. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with them saying, hey guys, we need to all stand 6 feet apart. Try to do that. If you know what I mean, it just all of the all of that stuff that they did around COVID seemed like common sense to me on the surface. Wear a mask, stand 6 feet apart. But then when you look into it and you see how the disease theoretically spread, wearing a mask, they said, was tantamount to having a chain link fence and throwing a bag of feathers up with a fan on it,
right,
and hoping that none of the feathers would blow through the fence.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, it's not complete idiocy if there's something that we believe is contagious to be like, hey, can we stand a little further apart but
you're always making the rules for the lowest common denominator. And
for the idiots?
Yes, in the group always defaults to the lowest common denominator thinking.
Oh, that's another reason why public schools are bad. They're teaching to the lowest common denominator.
And then everybody is good. Then nobody like rises really to that. They always just fall to it.
Equity.
So if you think about in terms of like complex systems, right? Like you could take any individual group of kids, say a group of 13-year-old boys. And majority of the time, if you pull any one of those boys out and have an individual conversation and say, you know what, that's a good kid. He was respectful, whatever. Now you take all those same boys and you put them together into a group of 6 and you just give them a little free time and a little space away from adult supervision. They are going to get in trouble. It's just a fact. And so when you look at it that way, you're creating rules.
There's going to be some rock throwing
around societies because you're trying to like solve for these complex systems, because once it goes into groupthink and everybody just drops to the lowest common denominator, and then you really want to get crazy is you throw one of those kids in there with no supervision, maybe coming from a slightly broken home, or there's issues in it. Now that every single boy in that group is going to default to the behavior of that one kid that is bad, quote unquote, relevant to the other ones. And so you just have that on mass scale in society, because once we get together, that group think takes over, and it's kind of the tribalism of us. Like nobody wants to be the one that's outcasted from the group. Nobody wants to be the weirdo. So even though it goes against every fiber of your being, you are just going to follow along the group. I mean, I remember multiple times when I was in that, middle school, early high school age where you're like, this inherently feels wrong. I'm scared of doing this. I don't really want to do this. I'm thinking about how I'm going to get in trouble. Do I speak up? No. Do I walk away? No. Do I change my behavior? No, because I would rather be accepted by my social group and my peer at that time than do the right thing. And again, that's like going with kind of like the biology thing. So like when you think about these rules and things that are constructed, hopefully there's thought around that, because that's why we have to have all these stupid ass rules, because nobody is really going to elevate above that group think.
When I was in junior high, there were these high school kids who went to a private school near me called De La Salle, very prestigious private school. And they were doing this thing called mailbox baseball, where you drive in your car really slow and the guy hangs his head out the window and swings a bat at mailboxes. And they hit this mailbox and the mailbox didn't break off. So the car stopped and one kid stayed in the car and two kids got out with the baseball bats to finish breaking the mailbox. It was in the newspaper. And the guy came out and goes, "Oh, you think that's funny to break my mailbox?" And he takes his gun and shoots the car. Didn't see that there was a kid in there. And kills the kid. And later, when I was in high school, I had this group of friends who liked to go out and do this really bad shit, worse than mailbox baseball. And I would always stay in the car. They would park somewhere and then go do this. And I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. And I remember they teased me and laughed, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to see the shit that they were doing.
Yeah.
Christian Leon, De La Salle, the best athletes from all Bay Area schools. Yeah, my mom took me there. My mom wanted me to go there, and the first thing that you take a written test, and then in the interview, the first thing they asked me, very first thing, what sports do you play? Very first question.
No sports. All right, this isn't for you.
And I said no sports.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? I did get into the school, but it was after school had started. And I'd already started going. So that means that like they probably filled up and like I was just the last loser they were trying to get in to get tuition from.
I just needed that money.
Yeah. I remember my test scores came back from the thing. And then I went back for a final interview. And the lady told me, she said, "You have the biggest dichotomy we've ever seen in the 50 years of the school between the written test and the interview."
The interview. That's how I would.
I must have I'm guessing I didn't want to go there and I just filled in the bubbles. Not that I was smart anyway, but
hey, I did that with pretty much, it was funny, like all through school, that's pretty much what I did. I'd get one of those Scantrons and I'd start, and I'm like, I just can't do this. And I would just start filling in bubbles.
Yeah, just to get out of there. Me
stuff.
too.
And it wasn't until later where they're like, okay, we got to send him to a tutor. Otherwise he's going to start to be held back. And so I went to Sullivan Learning Center where you have like the one teacher and there's only 4 students and they're teaching it to you. And it was funny because
what were the other kids like? Were they bad kids?
No, because you had to be able to afford it. Like, the only reason we could afford it is because at the time my uncle offered to. He was always big on education. So if you went to him and you're like, "Hey, I want to do XYZ," and it was education,
yeah, okay,
he'd take care of for you, no questions asked. It was like, "Yep, done here." And what do you need to be successful in it, right? Super fortunate in that regard.
The uncle with money.
Yeah. So my, my parents when took advantage of that. So we went to Sullivan Learning Center and all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, like I can figure this stuff out. Right. But you would drop me back at the public school. They would say, "Oh, we have our standardized testing. By the way, this doesn't count to your grade." And I would be like, "Oh, right back to just filling in the bullshit."
Yep.
And then they would pull me into these things and do these interviews or ask verbal questions or do some of this. And he's like, "Yeah, he has really good critical thinking skills. When we give him these passages to read and we ask him about it, he's able to comprehend it and does it. But it doesn't make any sense when we sit him down and like have him fill in the Scantron." So I totally get that. By the way, too, my learning.
Can you imagine if they would have spotted that and put you in a curriculum that suited your strengths?
Yeah, it would have. I mean, literally at Sullivan Learning Center, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
And I excelled from whatever grade level I was testing at.
Yeah.
Like really far above it in a short amount of time, which then had another negative effect because I already knew all of it going back into the high school classes.
Yeah,
So then I didn't have to pay attention at all because I was like, I already know this and I know how to solve for these math problems or whatever. And so, but that's kind of what happened is like when you had more individualized learning in a smaller group, I was able to excel, and they recognized it when we did the written and then the verbal interview tests as you test into Sullivan so they could place you and decide where you are, plug you with the right teacher and that type of stuff.
The best thing about my kids do Kumon. The best thing about Kumon, that it's the same thing if you find a good martial arts studio. You never go beyond your level. So in school, if you fall behind, school keeps moving forward.
Right.
In Kumon, if you can't get something, so if my kid's 8 years old and he's at the 8-year-old reading level, but he's at the 12-year-old math level, you would move fast. But they'll keep you at that 8-year-old reading level until you show proficiency in it, and then you move forward. You never move forward. And same with the jiu-jitsu studio that my kids are in. It's not about, this is a oversimplification, but it's not about how many times you come to class. It's how many people you can beat up. And if you can't beat someone up, you don't move ahead. Like
Right.
you would never have a gray belt with 3 stripes who can't beat up a gray belt with 1 stripe.
Yeah.
And so it's all just skills and moves and a mixture of aggression and technical ability and confidence and just all that shit, and you never move ahead. And if you have your kids somewhere where they're going to be moved ahead just based on the
flow of
program or
system, yeah.
participation or age, you're fucked. You're setting your kid up for failure, and your kid's self-esteem will plummet. You see that in jiu-jitsu tournaments all the time. You see gray belts show up there and they should be white belts and they just get slaughtered. Those
Yep.
kids don't want to come back to a tournament.
Right. Because you advance them beyond where they're actually at.
Yeah.
And then reality hits and it's like, this sucks.
Yeah, it's no good. Born Primitive Code Sevon 20 Fall Collection just released today. Also, everyone wants a pair of Savage Ones. There's never been one complaint or pushback from anyone from all the Savage Ones that we've sold on this show. Anyone said they didn't like the shoe. Every single fucking person loved the shoe. When we come back, I will show you 3 little boys who are attempting a store heist.
Every morning, we wake up knowing what's at stake. Freedom, honor, duty. This is more than a mission. It's the oath we took. It's the flag we wear on our sleeve and everything it stands for. We don't do it for money, glory, or fame, but for something deeper. It's for our families, for our freedom, for our way of life. And to anyone who tries to take that away from us, good fucking luck. Even when the mission is complete, training is never over. We are constantly honing our craft and sharpening our axe. That is the warrior mindset. This isn't just a brand to us. We're a part of these stories because we've lived these stories. And while we might have hung up the rifle and body armor one last time, our new mission is to outfit our nation's heroes with the best apparel on the planet. By the operator, for the operator. To those still standing on that wall, we salute you, the damn few. Born Primitive Tactical, for those who defend.
Born Primitive, owned by former Navy SEAL Bear Hamlin. Absolutely great guy. Last year donated $11 million to pay the medical bills of veterans. Use code SEVON20. See the new fall collection. Also, Savage Ones are there. Absolutely fantastic shoe. Get 20% off now, Jeff. Don't be a cheapie. 20% off. Oh, change your shirt? I got my Victo shirt and I'm pushing Born Primitive. You know why I like this shirt?
Right.
I like the shirt because of the way it fits me. So
That's all right.
it is what it is. I'm not perfect.
Hey, the medical bills and them having to pay medical bills for vets is terrible. Like, it's great that Born Primitive did that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But the fact that we live in a place with the abundance that we have, the resources that we have, and the individuals that sign up to defend our country and our freedoms, then have issues that could happen to them, service related, potentially in combat and stuff like that, and not be able to have all of that taken care of for them is awful.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna start getting really deep into this healthcare stuff. So I might start sounding like a broken record over the next couple of months. But like
I get it.
I think, and you know what? Don't start coming in saying, well, that's capitalism, Susan. No, that's corruption. And there's a big, big difference. And half of those people, and this is the same with the American Beverage Association, Coca-Cola, a lot of these pharmaceutical companies. I mean, the pharmaceutical companies, make no mistake, the pharmaceutical companies keep the lights on every mainstream news network in the United States. They are the whales. That is the biggest client of Fox. That's the biggest client of CNN. That's the biggest client of ABC. Make no mistake, they keep the lights on in those for those companies. And until you start to realize that and the amount of money that they spend on lobbying and legislation to make sure that the system stays the same way that it is, like it has nothing to do with capitalism. Okay.
My new favorite shoes, go-to shoes, are the leather Savage ones. They're also my wife's favorite shoes. Harley Mom, terrible that our vets aren't taken care of. Oh, is this? Hey, you might need to get kicked off the show.
Why?
Guys, buy BP even though I don't wear them. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much tired of you already. You just, everything you say is douchebaggery. Bye. Everything you say, like, it's okay. Like at least Baco is like bringing the facts. You know what I mean? Like, he's Googling or what he thinks are the facts. He's like, fuck you. It's not all fat black women aren't running HR. I just Googled it. It's 1 to 3%. Like, yeah, I'm okay. But like, hey, if everything you're gonna say is douchebaggery, like I don't wear those shoes, you're out of your fucking mind. They're my favorite shoes.
And Jeff does. I actually view that as kind of contributing to the show a little bit.
Yeah,
like he would be the one.
There's discussion.
Panelist on the side that was like, well, hold on, you guys. Although the spirit of what you're saying might kind of be true here, but let's look at some actual numbers on it.
Yeah.
So I don't view I don't view what Jeff does at all as negative.
I was a healthcare exec. He's just he's one of those people that always has to give a dissenting opinion, which is okay.
But he's at least bringing an actual opinion and not just being a douche.
Yeah. I was a healthcare exec for 25 years. Absolutely no healthcare provider I know wants to accept Medicaid. I'm a medical auditor in California. Man, I can't wait to bring you the story of what's going on in Minnesota. The fraud there, that $100 million scam. By the way, all the names are Muslim names involved in it. All of them. Every single one. Just saying. Just a fact. Okay, here's an unbelievable scene. I wonder who the role model is for these kids. This looks like it's a Walgreens or a CVS. I don't know if this is true, but it looks like to me that their mom or dad has dropped them off to go inside, rob the place, and is waiting outside the store for them to come out with the items. You are not going to believe these robbers.
You got like 10 seconds to open up this door. I swear to God, I'm gonna break this door. 10. Open this fucking door. Oh, come on, mom. Come on. Bitch, I been knew how to count, ho. Show 4 out of that. Dad do that.
The two of those kids are in their pajamas and slides.
I'm gonna open up this door because I'm not playing. All I fucking know is y'all better open it. I'm not playing. You know how to count. You have hands.
They have their bags full of the shit they've stolen, allegedly.
I'm gonna break some up in this bitch. I'm God.
You're saying they're going to destroy the store if they don't unlock and open the doors.
Do not play with me. Do not.
They have all the lines. Don't play with me.
Open this door, I'll trash it. You can open it. I will trash this home.
I will trash this place. You say, where are their moms? Someone can come with their mom's outside in the getaway car.
10. Open this
Look at the
fucking door.
kid's got sunglasses he stole on his head, too.
Bitch, I been knew how to count, ho. Show 4 out of that. Dad do that.
Oh.
That's just part of the stuff that they're taking.
It's crazy. They're like, go ahead, call my mama.
That's great. That's
Sean
really
M., this
sad.
is a victimless crime.
No, you know who the real victims are? It's those 3 little boys.
Yeah. Where do they go from here?
Into the system.
I'm assuming that they're robbing the store because they can, because they can't get arrested. Oh, we need another banner for the bottom that doesn't say "Kill Taylor."
I know. I
For-
saw that one. I thought that was all done up for Wodapalooza,
Oh,
but then
for-
I realized
yeah,
it
for
has the
tonight's show.
spot for the.
Brad did do an amazing job on that.
Yeah, and honestly, all we need is just like maybe the 7 podcast logo and that little box taken away. We're good to go.
By the way, I don't know if it's still available. It was going to be available for 24 hours. Maybe it is still available. We haven't reached the 24-hour mark, but biomaxpeptides.com, 10% off if you use code KT plus free shipping. And if you're here for Wodapalooza, you should head over to their wellness center in Costa Mesa. Go to the website, make an appointment. They have ice baths, saunas, IV drips, hyperbaric chamber, red light therapy. They got it all. So you can go in there and get all the goods. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do with a generation that's doing this. I've never seen. When I was a kid, it was like try to steal a pack of gum. Now it's just brazen. Bring your paper bag in, fill it up. Mom waits for you outside. I'd never even heard of any parent except in the last 5 years. Now, this isn't uncommon to see parents using their kids to steal now.
Yeah, well, I could tell you from personal experience, like that has happened for a long time.
That's
Yes.
parents have had their kids steal.
Yes, and I can tell you right now that those kids, unfortunately, are now learning that how I get mom's love, or mom and dad's. I won't assume that it's a single mom, but
I'll assume it's single mom.
how I get my parents' love is by doing things like this. And if I do this,
Wow.
I become in favor with my parents. I get affection, I get praise. And so that becomes programmed into children like this, and they don't know how to exist outside of it. And here's the fucked up part. They will go into the system, our prison system, at 12, 13, whatever, right? Because those crimes will escalate. And once they're in that system, they're going to find actual routine, boundaries, and everything else, and they will not know how to exist outside of it. The other thing is, as they grow older and they start to rebel against the mom a little bit, they want to find that same praise, affection, and love from other people. So
Wow.
they're going to shift to a gang type mentality or the older kids on the block, and then therefore the crime is going to have to escalate so that way they could become the guy. I could be the one. And that's why these younger kids, especially like, back in the day when I was going to art school and stuff like that and was spending more time in like the Oakland area or San Francisco area, the younger ones are the ones you had to watch out from. From 12 to 16 was the most dangerous kids on the street because they were looking to earn their stripes.
Yep.
They were looking to be the one, oh shit, you hear what so-and-so did? That's crazy. That dude's like over the top. And like for them, that is the highest form of affection and the highest form of love. So they're just going to continue to escalate their crimes to seek that. And then finally, once they get put into the system, even as fucked up as it is, they will find that routine, that structure, that discipline. And 2 things will happen. Either they won't know how to exist outside of that, or they'll become better criminals from existing inside of it and then come out and back in until eventually that crime escalates to the point to where they never come back out or they die in the process.
Right. They only know what they know.
Yeah.
They're bringing to market what they think will get them acceptance.
It does get them acceptance. I mean, imagine being ignored by your parent because of whatever their addictions or their drug or something like that. And then finally, when mom needs something and you go to the store and you steal it and bring it back to her, she's super excited. And then they get high or whatever. And you probably have more affection and different things like that because you serve the need of your parent. And then that goes away and they come down off the drug or there's more hard times. And so they're worse off to the kid. And what's that kid thinking? Like, damn, if I could just go steal something else to make mom happy, like we can go back to the place where I'm finding love and affection.
Single mom because they're black. No. Racist. No, not racist, sexist. Single mom because that doesn't happen when you have a dad. Sexist, not racist. Get your isms correct, please. It's because they don't have a dad. Is Taylor working out on the beach? He was. Good morning, Mark. You get good grades because it'll make your parents happy. They rob Target because it will make their parents happy. Yeah. All right, guys. That's our Wodapalooza show. We will be back with the whole crew today. You'll have we got Bryson, Jenny, Taylor, Souza, myself. Ari's been, Avi been working on their Trump impersonations. We will have a show for you from the sidelines at 5 p.m. Tonight. We will go over the workout, the athletes, the predictions, all that stuff. The people that we've spoken to, including I spoke to Dave yesterday, and he said Wodapalooza looks absolutely amazing. Dave's exact words were, "Holy shit, this venue's wild. It's so good." The venue's butted up right against the Huntington Beach Pier. It's set up beautifully. Hotel sprinkled around all around it. I spoke to Dylan. He said the vibe's amazing. I ran into some other people who said that they've gone to Miami Wodapalooza 5 years in a row, and then this is their second year at SoCal, and they said it's easily as good, if not better. So if you're in the area, come by, say hi to us. It's going to be a good time, and we'll be bringing you all the fun game stuff. See you guys later.